Going to be looking at operators. So we've got the assignment operator, we've got arithmetic operators, so plus, multiplication, subtraction, division, shorthand, how we can add items together. Also for strings, how we can concatenate them together. The order of when we're presenting a string and a number, and then when we're adding those together, the different results that we can expect depending on where the string is within the order of the operations. Also how we can use the comparison operators to check to see if values are equal, not equal. So this is going to be returning back a Boolean value. Previous lesson we looked at how we can create variables. So let's create a few variables, and these are just going to be numbers. And we're already using the assignment operator, which is the equal sign. So this is the commonly used one that actually assigns a value to a variable. There's also the addition operator, so that's indicated with the plus sign. So that means that we can select two variables and we can add them together. So if they're numbers, they're going to add the value and return back the value of the number being added together. So if in the console, let's output the result for a plus b, and that will output the result of 15. We can also, when we're assigning a variable, a plus b, and that will return back a value of 15 for C. So if we do reference C, that's returning back a value of 15. We can also take the initial value and we can add to the value. So if we have a value of A, which is already 5, and we want to reassign a new value, so A plus B, and that's going to return back the value of A is now going to be 15. The value of B is still 10. That's why we see 25 being output within the console. If we have a string value, so if we have a first name and a last name, and we take the first name plus the last name, the result is it's going to join the string values together, resulting in the value of full being the full name being output. And we can also add in additional strings. So if we wanted a space, we could add that in, and that will provide the space between the first and the last name. If we have a string and if we have a number, and if we try to join them together, so if we have a value of D, which is going to be a string value of 5, and a value of E, which is going to be a value of 5, what do you think the result is if we take D plus E and output into the console? If you said the value is going to be 55, you're correct, because the data type is a string and we're adding the string together. So what happens if we add a number and then add a string to the number? So we'll try that and reverse order, and the result is still the same, as this is already known that the data type is going to be a string, and when we're adding a number to a string, the result is going to be that we're getting the same thing as we did with the first name and the last name, and it just simply concatenates them together. That's why we're getting the result of 55. So if this was 9, then we'd have a result of 95, depending on the order of the values that we put together. If we have E plus E plus E, we can use it multiple times. So the result here is going to be slightly different, because what happened is that the JavaScript came across the value of E, which was 9, added it to the value of E, which was also 9, so it came out to 18, and then added the next value of E, which was 27, and then when it came across the string value, it converted it into a string. So that's where we get the resulting of 275. So the value of the three E's together was 27, and D is still 5 as a string, so it automatically converts it into a string. Whereas the result will be different if we have the string value first and we add in the additional values for the numbers, and then it just adds them together as strings. So the data type is already a string at this point, and that's where the resulting value is going to be much different than what we saw when the D was first, whereas when the D is last, it's going to add together the numbers until it encounters the string data type. You can also do multiplying of the variables. So if we have values, and we're just going to use the same variables that we had here at the top, so we can add together, we can also multiply. So that's using the asterisks and resulting in the value of A times the value of B. So at this point, A is 15, B is 10, because we've updated the value of A. And we can also output that final value there so that we can see it within the console. So now we've got 15 times 10, and the result is going to be 150 where we're doing the multiplication. There's also the subtraction that we can do as well, and there's the division. So subtraction is just as we'd expect with the minus sign. The division is with the slash. So that's going to be the resulting values that are being returned back after those are added in. There's also the assignment operators. So where we did the A equals A plus B, there's a shorthand method in order to do that, where we're assigning a new value to A, and we can just add it to equal whatever the value of 5. And now when we log out the value of A, the result for A is going to be 20, because this is going to be the same as taking A and equaling it to a value of A plus 5. So that's going to do the same thing, resulting in a value of 25 being output. As in both cases, we're adding 5 to the value of A, which originally was 15, then it turned to 20, and then to 25. You can also do the shorthand for multiplication as well. So there's the format for all of the multiplication, division is going to be doing the operator, so the arithmetic sign and the equals, and then whatever we're multiplying it by. So in this case, we're going to be multiplying, taking the value of A and multiplying the value by as A times 10. So it's going to be resulting in a value being returned back of 250. So these operators where we're using the strings, we only have the plus sign. There's no subtraction for strings or multiplication. So you can't take a value of first minus the value of last. So it's not going to work, because it's going to return back none, which is not a number, because it's only for numbers that you can do the subtraction, multiplication, and division. There are operators as well as the comparison operators. So what the comparison operator does is it allows us to check to see if one value is equal to another or one value is less than the other. So the result can be something like where we've got 4 and checking to see if it's equal to 4. And this is going to return back a Boolean value. So we're not going to see anything within here, but if we add it into the console, it gets returned back that we get a Boolean value being returned back. So if we were to set this to boo and then output within the console the result of boo, we could use the comparison operator to check to see if these results are true. There's also if we want to see if it's not equal. So this will return back a value of false, as 4 is being checked to see if it's not equal to 4, and the result there is false because 4 is equal to 4. You can also do the less than or greater than. So we can check to see if 4 is greater than 4. That as well is going to be false, because 4 is not greater than 4, it's equal to 4. You can check to see if it's greater than or equal to, and you can also use the less than sign. So this is checking to see if 4 is greater than or equal to 2. And that's to 4, and that's being returned back as true. Let's also check to see if a string value of 4 is equal to the numeric value of 4, and this comes back as true. So we can also check to see if the type is going to be equal. So if we do the third equal sign, this is going to be checking to see if the type. So if the data types are the same, then it's going to come back as true. If they're not the same, then it's going to come back as false. So this is also checking data types. And if you want to do the not equal value and not equal data type, then you can do the exclamation mark, and that will return back the value of true, because the string value of 4 is not equal to the value of 4 because the data type is not equal. So try it out and you can be ready to move on to the next lesson.